Hello,
everybody.
hello. It's day 5. It's our last LinkedIn Live for Neurodiversity Celebration Week.
Yeah,
So-
sort of happy, sad.
Yeah.
It's been quite tiring doing lives every day, not going to lie, but it's been really amazing actually to share with you some really more in-depth information around neurodiversity, and hopefully you've learned some new stuff and discovered some new things, and we've opened your eyes to a few things, because that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, and it's just been great, I think, to have this conversation about being neurodiverse. But I would like to say there are another 51 weeks in the year where it would be amazing to keep up the conversation, to keep up the positivity, and also the interest in neurodiversity. So it's been great to have a focus, but, you know, neurodiverse individuals are neurodiverse the whole year round. And today's focus, we really wanted to look at, can you be proud of your neurodiverse brain? And what can you do to support your own well-being? So yes, you can be proud of your neurodiverse brain, is what I would like to say.
Yes, absolutely.
And actually, what we haven't done is just checked in with the sound. I think we haven't had any more problems. Georgia, you're usually our person that pops on and tells us, but hopefully the sound's working okay for everybody.
If not, let us know. We've got a backup mic here that we can have a go with if there's any problems with the sound. So just that one strange day on Monday when the sound was all over the place.
Yeah.
We were too electric for it. Anyway, okay, so just to quickly recap, this is who we are. We're Remarkable Minds, and we're dedicated neurodiversity specialists, and we really truly are committed to fostering well-being for neurodiverse individuals, because we believe that this is a crucial area of focus that's often overlooked in those conventional approaches. But often we're very busy at looking at how we can harness the talents. Oh, thank you, Georgia. You're on it.
Thanks, Georgia.
So Georgia's just told us that the sound's okay. Sorry, I don't think you can see that comment. So we really do believe that, you know, most conventional approaches tend to look at the accommodations and the changes that you need to make in the workplace for the neurodiverse people, which is awesome, and we do that as well. But actually our real area of passion is focusing on the well-being of the neurodiverse person themselves, because we find that once that is stable and once that is improved, everything can change for everybody. Yeah.
So, you know, let's just do a bit of a recap, really. So, just to remind you that being neurodiverse doesn't always look how you think it's going to look. You know, it is an invisible difference. And there are many hidden traits to being neurodiverse. And, you know, we've touched on some of these. We've been into organizations and spoken about some of these. But often neurodiverse adults are hiding in plain sight. And, you know, 80% of neurodiverse adults don't know they are neurodiverse. And being neurodiverse is a cognitive difference. It's not a choice. And this knowledge can actually have a really, really big impact on the individual.
Absolutely,
you know? And I think, you know, that's, we're going to talk about it a bit later, you know, how can you be confident and neurodiverse? You know, it is a journey, but actually realizing there is a actual physiological reason behind your struggles is huge.
It is. It really is. Absolutely. Because so many adults with neurodiversity come to us, and I think we've said this before, but I'm going to say it again, saying, I'm just dumb. I just don't know anything. I'm just really dumb. I've always been told all my life that I'm dumb, and I'm never going to achieve anything as much as anybody else. And that is such an awful place to be, where it's sort of almost that hopeless place of, there's no hope for me. I'm just stupid, and so I just have to accept that this is as far as I'm going to go in life, and that is absolutely not the case. And we really, really want to work with anybody that feels like that. You know, you don't have to feel like that. It can be different.
Yeah.
Because psychological safety at work is one of the most important things that a workplace can do for neurodiverse adults. And there is a lot of talk, isn't there, about psychological safety? We hear it talked about all the time, psychological safety. But what does it really mean? What does it actually look like for a neurodiverse person? You know, and I can't remember if we touch on that in a little bit, but it is really about that ability to feel safe in the workplace, to be yourself, to be who you really are. And I spoke to someone the other day who was saying that they've worked in lots of different workplaces, and in most of them, they could be one little portion of themselves, but the rest they had to keep to themselves.
And, that doesn't build confidence. This presentation is all about how to be confident. And the thing is, if you're having to hide who you really are and the way that you think and the way that you show up in the world, that isn't psychological safety. And I think, we were just at an amazing event this morning, the Belonging Club, where, we heard our good friend Rich Rowley speak, and it's always great, when he's there. And, that was one of the things he was saying is one of the most important things is psychological safety. So really, I don't think you can underestimate how important this is for a neurodiverse person's well-being. And, we've been saying it a few times this week, but we actually believe it's a partnership between the workplace and the individual. That is the best way forward.
Absolutely.
It really is. It isn't up to just the workplace, and it isn't up to just the neurodiverse individual. It's the partnership between the two of you that can be really powerful.
Because we've all got talents and we've all got skills and, areas that you're not so great at, I'm better at, and vice versa, and I think it's about working in teams that maximize everybody's talents and not making people feel rubbish about the things that they're not good at. We don't all have to be good at everything. I once went to a talk about mental health. Actually, I'm going to get slightly off pace.
Okay. It's usually me that goes off.
I went to a talk, I think it was at Auckland Uni actually, years ago, about mental well-being. And it was actually talking about school, but it was saying that children that are really good at everything at school tend to do less well than children that are really good at one thing in life because they're able, at school, because they're able to really be working in the area that they are passionate about and that they really, really enjoy. And so those people often go on to jobs in that area of their interest and they live happy, healthy, mentally well lives. It's people that are sort of okay at everything and then they end up in a career that isn't really suited to them or isn't really their area of passion. They tend to have less mentally well lives because they're not operating in their area of genius. So, that's, and I can't remember who it was doing the talk, but I just thought that was very interesting.
So, how can you be a confident neurodiverse adult? So, in fact, what is confidence? I think it's very individual and we all have a slightly different kind of picture or feeling of being confident. It is possible. That's what I would like to say. It is absolutely possible to be neurodiverse and confident. But that is actually a journey. And, it's one that I've been on and we've taken other adults on. Because the thing is, you don't need to feel overwhelmed and lost. And I think, what the backstory here is we've explored some of the negatives this week of being neurodiverse. But what we haven't really explored is that actually so many neurodiverse people have come through out of education with these inherent negative beliefs in their own abilities and themselves. So I know I didn't have a picture of what confidence was before I'd realized I was neurodiverse. And if I did have a picture of confidence, it certainly wasn't me being confident. It was something that was external that other people had, but that I didn't.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because we talk about, in the webinar that we did earlier this week, we talk about how important it is for neurodiverse people to have a picture, a visual picture in their mind of a concept, to be able to process and work with that concept. And when we did that webinar, we asked people to picture confidence. What does confidence actually look like for you? Now, most of those people on that webinar, who were obviously majority neurodiverse people, didn't have a picture for confidence at all. It was just completely blank. Or the picture that they did have was negative. It was arrogance. And, in fact, confidence is not arrogance. It's not the same thing. Being confident does not make you an arrogant person. You don't have to be that, I'm so super confident, look at me, to feel confident inside.
And I think, as we've just touched on, school is damaging for neurodiverse individuals. And I think even from my experience, I didn't have a terrible school experience. I didn't fail at school. But what it did is I was always stressed about, was I going to remember the information when I did the test? Was it going to be a day where my dyslexia was at its worst? It was that inability to actually trust my own thoughts and my own retention of the information that made school stressful. So you don't have to have bombed out at school for it to be stressful. I still picked up loads of negative beliefs about my own abilities through school.
Yeah.
And in fact, today, now I'm going to go off piece.
Okay, go, your turn.
This morning we were doing an exercise and our team got 60 points and we were all feeling really proud. And then we heard another team got, I think it was like 450. And what was really interesting is until we compared ourselves to another team, we were actually really happy with our score.
Yeah.
And I think, that's what school is. School is full of comparisons.
Yeah.
And for a neurodiverse individual, what's really tough is we just can't do what everybody else can do easily.
Yeah.
So
or what's expected of you.
Yeah.
It's not even what everyone else, it is what everyone else can do, but it's like, it's what's expected of you. You're expected to operate in a certain way, aren't you, in the school environment. And for neurodiverse people, in so many ways, not even just academically, just the being in school and the structure and the organization of school can be a really difficult place for them to be, and that can be damaging. So what I was going to say as well was neurodiversity at school doesn't always show up like you think it's going to show up, like you were saying, you were always really happy to do reading and writing. It wasn't a problem, but you were super helpful. You were super helpful at school. Some neurodiverse children are badly behaved at school. So just because they're neurodiverse, it doesn't mean that it's going to look like you think it's going to look. It can go either way. It can be that child that's really naughty and disruptive, or it can be a child that's super helpful and always going out of their way to help everybody.
But, let's look at this with that adult lens. We do need to acknowledge school, because the adults that we work with, you'll be amazed how many of the negative internal self-beliefs can be traced back to that system.
Absolutely.
But you don't always have to feel like that. And I think, that's what we're really about, as if we go on to the next
But I was
slide.
going to say the last bit, the difference is, as an adult, you can then begin to truly understand your brain and understand how it processes the world. And then that is what can change everything. And it can change that past experience going forward for you, so that you can
understand, why you've struggled, and know why you found it so hard to accept yourself. And I think the biggest thing is there isn't actually anything wrong with you. Just because you haven't succeeded in the usual way, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you or the way your brain works. So that's kind of all the negatives, and I really want to shift the focus onto the positives now, because it really is possible to accept your neurodiverse brain and to be confident and to really remove that self-doubt. It is possible. This is one of the things that we're so passionate about. In fact, this is what gets us up every morning. Really?
Absolutely.
Isn't
This
it?
is why we do what we do, because we are passionate about helping neurodiverse adults reconcile their past and move forward, living life in a different way, really, truly understanding themselves, understanding why things have been hard up till now, and then changing it, because it is possible to change it.
Yeah.
Look, there's our Resilient Minds program.
Here's our Resilient Minds program. So we do have a special price for Neurodiversity Celebration Week. But the thing is, we've taken our years of facilitation, our expertise in neurodiversity, our expertise in life coaching, and we have created this program. And it comes from lived experience. And I think the thing is, your brain does work differently. So therefore, you need a different approach to confidence. And, and this is what this is.
Absolutely. And the difference with this program is as well, there's not lots of reading, there's no workbook, there's no handouts. It's not that kind of program. It's action based. So it's video, a little bit of video content, followed by action, and then followed by coaching to embed the learning. And it really is a powerful, life-changing program. And we would just love to take any of you through it who are feeling like they're just a little bit not where they should be. So that you can be proud of your brain. Yeah, you can be proud of your brain. And when you're proud of your brain, you can harness your natural talents and you can maximize your unique strengths, and you can really feel good about you and who you are right now. So many neurodiverse people think they have to change, they have to learn how to do things differently, they have to learn to be more neurotypical, I just have to work harder. It's not true. It's just not true. It's a complete lie. You know, you are amazing as you are right now, and we want you to help you really believe that and understand that and work with it, not against it. You know, there are so many amazing ways to work with the brain that you have, rather than trying to make it more neurotypical and trying to fit yourself into that box all the time.
Because I think the thing is, you know, school didn't teach you how to think with your neurodiverse brain. Work doesn't teach you how to think with your neurodiverse brain. And I think once you start to understand your cognitive difference, how to harness that cognitive difference, it really is incredible. And I think, you know, when people ask me, as they sometimes do, you know, what changed for me or what was the most powerful thing I did, you know, hand on heart, I can say it was accepting myself, and it is accepting myself. That made the biggest difference for me. And you know, we talked about that partnership. So having a psychologically safe workspace is amazing. That has definitely changed my life. And as Rich was talking about today, when he changed his job 10 years ago and someone understood how his brain worked, it's phenomenal. But you also need to work out inside as well. And we've got fireworks.
What's going on there?
Is that someone doing that, or did we do that?
I don't know.
Well, thank you for the fireworks. That was great. Yeah, you know, that's phenomenal, and it's definitely part of the equation. But also, so is that self-acceptance. And because the more that you learn to maximize your unique strengths, the more that you learn how to really understand your cognitive difference and how to harness it, it actually starts to build a good momentum, you know, and you start to feel better and better and better about yourself, instead of it all being negative all the time.
So you build those positive self-beliefs, you remove those negative self-beliefs. That's something that we work on, is removing those negative self-beliefs and replacing them with positive self-beliefs that you can go, so that you can go out in the world and show up differently and show up as you, not as a little piece of you or a little version of you, but actually as you. And I also just wanted to say as well, as a neurotypical person that works and lives with neurodiverse people, having the language to be able to talk about neurodiversity is enormous. You know, for me to understand neurodiversity is only possible because other people can talk to me about what's going on with them. And a lot of neurodiverse people don't even have the language to be able to express what's actually happening for them. And so that's one of the things that we look at as well.
So the other part of this was, you know, your own well-being. And I think, you know, here it is, that self-acceptance, that has a huge impact on your well-being. And I think the thing about this is that's a journey, right? You know, but the first step of it is awareness. Because once you start becoming aware, you start understanding, oh my gosh, I'm not the only person that struggles with this, you know. You really start to understand the impact that your neurodiversity has had on you. And I'm not just talking about work or school, it's in all areas of life, as we've talked about today. So, you know, that self-acceptance, you can't just think, oh, okay, I'm going to accept myself now. Oh, yeah, I've accepted it.
Exactly.
You know, it does need a deeper level of work than that.
It does.
But if you can do that, that is one of the biggest things that will make a difference to your well-being. I don't mind sharing, you know, I went to counselling for quite a few years before I realised I was neurodiverse to try and figure out the chaos I was in. And I think, you know, it definitely had some benefits, but it really wasn't until I unlocked that neurodiversity, what was actually happening, how much my core beliefs that I'd picked up in school were impacting me, then that's when things really started to change. And I could actually remove that self-judgment, because that's actually huge for supporting your own well-being, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I would just add in there, and it's not on the slide as well, but I think it's really important to forgive yourself, to forgive yourself for having judged yourself so harshly, for having felt for so many years that you weren't as good as other people. You know, in order to move past it, you really need to forgive it, I think, you know, and accept that it's happened, and not dwell on it, and then understand how you can move forward from it.
Because I think, you know, supporting your own well-being, you know, what does that look like? Well, it's actually being kind to yourself, because I know this was something I struggled with enormously. I was great at being kind and caring to other people, but when it came to myself, oh my gosh, I had such a harsh internal cricket.
Yeah, I had an internal cricket.
I had an internal cricket. There's my dyslexia. I had such a harsh internal critic. You know, I never, ever thought that I was capable or that I was enough. And it's so interesting how deep-seated these beliefs were. So even if I was kind of happy on the outside, I still had that real internal, you know, negative voice. And I know we all have it. Everybody has that. But I don't think you can underestimate, for neurodiverse individuals, it's been constant their whole lives. And it's really hard to stop that, because we've had so many experiences where we've got things wrong, we haven't fitted it, and I've done something stupid in front of a room full of people. So actually removing that judgment of yourself is huge.
It is huge.
And it is one of the areas that we actually...
Well, look, there's us.
We actually dive into in the Resilient Mind.
So look, I mean, I just think it's amazing that as you know, if you listen to us for a while, Vanessa and I have been friends for a very long time. The Vanessa of 20 years ago would never have had her photo taken in a chicken suit in a million years. No. But now it's like accepting yourself with all your quirks and all your individualities enables you to just inhabit who you really are and be free with it and be accepting with it, and then move on from it. I mean, it's not like you never make mistakes. It's not like I never make mistakes, but we can move on from them now. And it's just like, oh no, look what I did. Never mind, move on. Whereas I know that in the past that would not have been the case for you.
You know, I've just said I've got an internal cricket. I mean, honestly, I would have spent days and days and days thinking about that. I would have thought, oh my gosh, people are going to think I'm an idiot. There would have been all sorts. And I think it is really interesting, actually. What does accepting yourself look like? It does look like me turning up in a chicken suit. Now, I was always pretty outgoing and confident, wasn't I? But I didn't accept that. And I think for me, it was a way of trying to cover up.
I was exactly going to say that.
How stressed I was.
I was going to say exactly that, Vanessa, that when we were in the Middle East and you were always doing dress-up parties, it was like a way to hide.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was like hiding who you were.
Yeah.
This is different. This is like inhabiting who you are.
Yeah.
So that's a different thing. It's just a completely different vibe and a different internal feeling. From this to how you were 20 years ago.
I agree. And I think it's embracing my weirdness, or it's embracing my quirkiness, because I've actually truly accepted who I am, and I've done that internal work. Because, you know, my neurodiversity isn't undermining me anymore. Yeah. That's the thing. And I'm not as stressed about it anymore, because I really have accepted it. So thank you, Georgia.
I'm going to put Georgia's comment on the screen so that everybody can see that Georgia loves our photo. Thank you, Georgia.
So I guess, you know, what we did want to share with you is that we do have this program called Resilient Minds. And if you're a workplace and you can see that some neurodiverse individuals are struggling, come and talk to us. You know, if you're an individual yourself and you're struggling and maybe you've tried a few things, but you haven't quite hit on that thing, please come and explore this program with us. We just love helping people. And in fact, we're still in touch with some of the people we coached 4 years ago.
4 years ago. We're still in touch with them because they loved it so much. Yeah. So put that little thing back up and again. There's the QR code. So you can just scan the QR code and it'll just take you to the page that tells you more about the Resilient Mind program. It really is an amazing program, and we're super passionate about supporting the people that go through it. We are really there for them, and we really, really do create massive change alongside the individuals themselves. Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. Can you be confident and neurodiverse? Yes, absolutely, you can be. What can you do to support your own emotional well-being? I would say find understanding people who are around you. That's a biggie. Do that work on yourself for accepting yourself, because once you accept yourself, what you'll find is your confidence isn't so impacted by people on the outside. So that's actually a really important thing. And learn to just be a bit kinder and not judge yourself so harshly. You know, that actually really creates emotional well-being.
Absolutely. Because, you know, neurodiversity is not going anywhere. You know, if you're neurodiverse, you're neurodiverse for life. I mean, it doesn't have to cause you struggles and difficulties.
No.
It can be something that enhances your life, not makes it worse or more difficult, you know, because it's not the neurodiversity itself that's causing you the troubles in life.
No.
It's the stress and anxiety that it's creating in your life because of how you feel about yourself and how you feel about it. If you felt differently about it, it would create a completely different experience for you.
Yeah. So I can't believe this is like our
I'm
last.
Make us speak now.
Okay.
There we go.
I cannot believe this is our last live of this week. You know,
we're wearing our brain deep.
We are wearing it. You can tell I'm a bit shorter than Becky.
Well, I think I've got platform heels on. Anyway, it's been absolutely wonderful to spend this week talking about neurodiversity. It really is something that we're super passionate about, and we have spoken to so many amazing people, so many amazing organizations this week, and it really has been phenomenal to see how much interest there's been, even this year compared to last year. You say there's just so much more interest this year, which is fantastic. So if you didn't get to do one of our 30-minute sessions this week, we're still happy to run them for you. We've decided to keep them going. They've been so popular that we've just decided we're going to keep that as an option for people, so that it really is a sort of a great starting place for neuro inclusion. So.
And come and talk to us. You know, being psychologically safe in the workspace is something that a lot of people talk about, you know, but we can help you create that for your neurodiverse people. But more than that, we can help those neurodiverse people themselves feel safe within themselves. And, you know, that is the way to be confident. I am now very open about being neurodiverse. And I think we might have shared it earlier this week in one of the slides. I was saying, I have a very dyslexic son and I have an ADD son. And I was telling my dyslexic son, when we found out about his dyslexia, how proud I was of his brain and how he thought differently and how amazing he was. And yet when I discovered my own late diagnosis, I was completely ashamed. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell my friends. I didn't tell my partner. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my son. I was so embarrassed. You know, and I think it's so interesting, isn't it, that I was happy for him to be dyslexic, but I wasn't happy to be dyslexic. Now, that's a long time ago, and I no longer feel like that. And I'm happy to say I've got an internal cricket on a LinkedIn Live and just laugh about it. And that is confidence, actually, I think, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
That's confident. It's not.
I wish I had a little video of you from 20 years ago that we could put up. So we could see the difference. I know. Thank God there wasn't
smartphones around. That's all I can say. Thank goodness there weren't smartphones around.
I know. There were some shenanigans. I can't get it out. Anyway, we've really enjoyed speaking with everyone this week. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our videos or to watch some more recordings or to be here live. We really appreciate it. And Georgia, I think you have to get the prize as the most helpful viewer. Keep telling us about the sound and everything, and thank you so much for your lovely comment. It really does mean the world to us. We are super passionate about this stuff, Georgia. And you know, we love it, and we just want to help as many people as possible. That's why we're here. So thank you for being here. So
I guess this is what we should be doing. Don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn. And you know, we do a newsletter. So please, sorry, I'm getting distracted now by comments. So you know, please connect with us. And thank you for your nice comments. It really does mean a lot, actually, because we kind of sit here and we're like, don't know if anybody's watching.
I know,
this.
we're just
But
talking to
anyway.
ourselves, really. All we can see is us. So thanks for taking the time to comment. If we can make people feel less alone, and we can make people feel like being neurodiverse is okay, that is something that we just love to do. We just want to help neurodiverse people feel like they can be themselves and that they can thrive in life. We've both got neurodiverse kids.
Yeah.
And the world we want to create is the world that we want them to operate in, so that they can go into the world just being themselves and not feeling like they have to hide themselves. We've gone over our 30 minutes. We need to stop.
Okay.
So yes, follow us on LinkedIn if you don't already. If you've got any questions or you want to know anything, just get in touch. You can send us a LinkedIn message or email us at hello@remarkableminds.co.nz. Check out the website, all the usual bits and pieces.
It is possible to be confident and neurodiverse, and you can support your own emotional well-being. And I love it, Leith. You're right. Our inner crickets do chirp a lot, don't they? So I think we should rename it to inner cricket.
Let's rename it to an inner cricket. Oh my goodness, it's been a week. Okay, everyone. Take care.
See you later.
Bye.